Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description. Hey friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
So we decided to mix things up a little bit with these pro wrestling controversies lists, since so many of you had great suggestions, and the more we started mining the business for scandals,
the more material we came up with. So we made a bunch of more themed pro wrestling controversies lists that we thought you enjoy.
Yeah, today we're talking about sex, Larson, because people love the sex. And the pro wrestling industry is chock full of sex scandals.
So here you go, the 5 biggest pro wrestling sex scandals.
XPW's Messiah complex. So we've talked about extreme pro wrestling on the channel a handful of times. The LA-based promotion run by pornographer Rob Black back in the late 90s gained infamy for trying to out-hardcore ECW by adding healthy doses of porn actresses and even more blood to their proceedings.
But in their defense, XPW actually had some pretty decent homegrown stars like Supreme, their resident king of the deathmatch, Chaos, and maybe their most successful XPW original, the Messiah.
William Welch debuted as a guy claiming to be the literal second coming of Christ, who came to XPW to cleanse the many sinners from XPW. He ended up holding their world title and King of the Deathmatch title simultaneously and became really over really quickly.
His time in XPW was relatively short-lived though, as rumors got around that Welch had an affair with porn actress Lizzie Borden, who also happened to be the wife of XPW owner Rob Black.
In August of 2002, Welch was attacked in his apartment where 2 assailants attempted to cut his dick off. They got away with one of his thumbs after he was able to fight them off, dick intact.
A piece on America's Most Wanted pointed the finger, or thumb, at Rob Black, but there was no proof, so nothing ever came of it.
I remember going to a show in LA after the thumb incident, and someone in the crowd yelled for Messiah to poke his opponent with a thumb to the eye, and Messiah really got all bent about it. I mean, for good reason, but still, he was like, "Hey, who said that? Who said that? Who said that?" You know, Messiah actually had a really, really good run in CZW after XPW. He won like all the titles that they had there.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Weird that he never, to me, he seemed like he could have had like a CM Punk career trajectory.
I remember he had some decent charisma.
He was a really charismatic guy. He was a good worker.
Yeah.
He had that intensity thing going on. And the Messiah gimmick was great.
Yeah,
it was so perfect.
That might have kept him off like WWE TV though.
That could be.
A guy claiming to be the second coming of Jesus.
Back then though, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Leaked nudes! Okay, so almost every celebrity has been there, or at least every female celebrity who's uploaded nudes to iCloud, and pro wrestling superstars are no different.
Melina, Velvet Sky, and Dana Brooke are just a few of the female wrestlers who've had nudes leaked, but they're not really big enough names to wonder if they'd be punished by their employers for getting hacked.
Now, it might sound messed up for a company to punish an employee for a hack, but the bottom line is, a company like the WWE has an image to protect. So it wouldn't be surprising if they responded to a leaked nude by keeping the talent away from a prominent role for a bit. But in the case of Seth Rollins and his leaked dick pic, they basically did nothing.
Allegedly, his leak, in which we saw little Seth in full baby-making mode, was done by a jilted fiancé who discovered the architect had been cheating on her and decided to curb stomp his privacy by showing everyone his tackle.
More recently, a leaked picture of a Paige boobie was immediately shot down as fake by her mom. But I think that was just her being a good protective mom, because to me it kind of looked real.
Real or fake, it's just another boob. No different than any other boob.
I know, really, leave Paige's boob alone. That picture wasn't meant for you. It was, rumor has it, meant for Brad Maddox.
It was for the fat folder he named Beef Mode.
That's right. And he has Beef Mode 2.0 for when he goes to TNA.
Yeah.
Team Extreme Triangle! Long before Broken Matt Hardy was revolutionizing professional wrestling with the final deletion, he was part of Team Extreme with Brother Nero, or as they called him before his public deletion, Jeff Hardy. I'm sorry, I just listened to Talk as Jericho with Broken Matt. It was a profound experience.
Anyways.
It was an incident.
Back then, Matt and Jeff may have had an epic feud with Edge and Christian, but behind the scenes, they were all best friends, and for a time, Lita and Matt were deeply in love. Or at least they were dating.
They dated for 5 years. You think you'd have to be in love with somebody who dated for 5 years.
At one point, yeah.
But scandal arose when it leaked out to the internet dirt sheets that Lita had deleted Matt from her heart and started shacking up with Edge. The WWE released Matt, and in response to increasing hostility from fans over the incident, Lita and Edge were turned into a heel couple on WWE programming. They got over huge as heels, and it led to Edge becoming a true main event star.
Matt went to Ring of Honor, but WWE saw money in a revenge angle and brought him back to feud with Edge and Lita, using the affair as a storyline, which was an idea brought to the table by Matt himself.
Yeah.
Edge ended up going over in their blow-off match, and Hardy went over to SmackDown for a mildly successful singles run before reuniting with Brother Nero for another run as the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, Edge is on record as having been understandably uncomfortable with the angle and regrets hurting Matt, but Matt seemed to do just fine for himself. He's currently experiencing a career renaissance and has a wife that actually kind of looks like Lita, only more cartoonishly buxom. She looks like a Russ Meyer version of Lita, really.
If only Broken Matt Hardy had been around back then, if he had Vanguard 1 at his side, maybe he could have deleted Edge as well.
Delete! 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 Chyna does porn! There's been a lot of talk since Chyna's recent tragic death about whether or not she'll go into the WWE Hall of Fame. Her resume would certainly warrant it, save for one major sore spot. She did lots of pornography.
After her departure from the WWE in 2002, either due to her ex-boyfriend Triple H hooking up with Stephanie McMahon and making shit awkward, or due to her desire to explore acting gigs, depending on which story you believe, she started a relatively successful career as a reality star, appearing on a few iterations of The Surreal Life.
In 2004, however, Chyna and X-Pac made a gross sex tape and sold it to pornographer Red Light District Video, who then dubbed it One Night in Chyna. Very clever. This was around the time sex tapes started making people like Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton famous for no other reason than the fact that they were willing to act shocked when their boring sex acts were leaked to the public.
In 2009, after it was obvious her reality career was going nowhere and the WWE still wasn't ready to bring her back, Chyna embarked on a full-on porn career, first starring in Another Night in Chyna, then Backdoor in Chyna, and then most hilariously,
she appeared in a pro wrestling porn parody, where she took on porn versions of The Rock, Ric Flair, Stone Cold, The Iron Sheik, and John Cena, among others. Many, many others. Although we're still not sure if that was a fake Ric Flair or the real deal. Either wouldn't surprise us.
it was definitely a fake nature.
Yeah, I know.
She also, wrestled
Yeah.
a parody version of her ex-boyfriend Triple H. If anything sealed the deal of her being blacklisted from the WWE, it was this video.
Yeah, afterwards she made a few more, an Avengers porn parody and a spin-off She-Hulk porn parody, and called it quits after that. Sadly, through it all, Chyna had a fairly public battle with drug addiction, and earlier this year, in the midst of filming a documentary about her return to prominence, she died from an overdose at the age of 46.
Chances are, sometime in the next 5 years or so, we'll see Chyna enter the Hall of Fame posthumously, because she was simply one of the most revolutionary wrestlers ever to hit the world of pro wrestling.
You can get away with a lot of shit and still get into their Hall of Fame. Fucking on film is not one of them. She should have gone the Sunny route. Get in the Hall of Fame first, then do pornography. Hulk Hogan sex tape! The Hulkster unknowingly made the most lucrative sex tape in history when his good friend, something called Bubba the Love Sponge, taped Hulk Hogan receiving a blowjob from Bubba's wife. According to the Hulkster brother, Bubba and his wife Heather had an open marriage, and feeling like he was at a low point in his life, he did sex things on her.
According to Bubba's wife, Bubba got off on taping her being with other guys, so we'd imagine that watching his wife hook up with the biggest pro wrestler in history was probably like his own personal WrestleMania moment.
What is that called when you just want to watch your wife fuck other guys?
It's called cuckold.
According to her deposition, the on-camera blowjob was simply one of many times she hooked up with the Hulkster at her husband's insistence. But neither of the participants knew they were being filmed at the time, so when the sex tape leaked to gossip site Gawker, the Hulkster sued them and famously won a massive windfall of $140 million, putting Gawker out of business, brother.
This would be a lot more funny had the leaked tape not also captured Hulk saying horribly racist things, which led to him being fired from the WWE. Word is his relationship with the company is on the mend, and they're working on ways to bring him back into the fold.
Hopefully starting with another apology tour, because you're gonna need that.
Oh yeah.
But at this point, we don't really feel neither the company nor Hogan really needs each other. But Hogan is such an integral part of the WWE's history, it is a bit weird for him to be on the outs with them. On the other hand, you just can't be saying shit like what he said. It's not the 1970s anymore when people could say whatever idiot shit they wanted to, and people were totally cool with it.
Yeah, you can't talk like that.
You can't. Anytime. Not in private, never. Because there's always cameras everywhere.
Yeah, just don't say it.
And you shouldn't be thinking that shit anyway.
No.
I like on Hulk's Instagram, he posted a picture of him dropping a leg drop and on the logo for Gawker. That was on Hogan's Instagram.
That's kind of funny.
So there you go. Those are 5 sex scandals that rocked pro wrestling. We're sure there's many, many more. Let us know what you think in the comments. I mean, come on, Vince McMahon's on-screen character himself is a walking sexual harassment suit waiting to happen. And of course, there's always been those nasty rumors about the Macho Man and Stephanie, but some things are better left not talked about.
And be sure to check out tomorrow's video on pro wrestling controversies, where we look at another form of being screwed, when we count down 5 times the WWE was screwed over by a wrestler. Yeah.
Yeah. 5 times they went to Vince McMahon and said, delete, delete,
Said,
delete.
Vince, you are obsolete.